Everyone. Thanks for being here. This is the Gary Sanitary District meeting. Today is Friday, May 2nd. Will everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, next on the agenda, could we please have roll call to establish a quorum?
Commissioner William Allen.
Present.
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 Thank you. With 5 commissioners present, we do have a quorum. Next, we'll go on to certification. Pursuant to Indiana law, section 5-14-1.5-6.1, I certify that prior to the start of today's meeting, there was an executive session held and nothing was discussed that was not indicated on the posted notice. That being in compliance with Indiana statutes, there were no final votes held during the session. Does any member dissent? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to jump to request to speak.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to take some time. We did this last meeting too because we had a number, maybe between 2 and 2,500 liens go out for the year 2022. A couple months ago, we will be sending out lien notices for 2023 this week. And in August, there will be lien notices going out for 2024. These came as a requirement from the State Board of Accounts. They noticed that we had a lot of overdue unpaid balances for properties, and we were, they call it a finding. We received a finding for not going after these dollars. And so since I started in January, we used and worked with the State Board of Accounts to determine how to send these notices out, what they should say, how far we should go back. The State Board of Accounts is a state agency. For those of you already don't know, they're our state auditing agency through the state of Indiana. So last month we sent out approximately 2,000 notices. We have 3 years to send out lien notices to owners. The interesting thing about the Gary Sanitary District that's not the same with any other utility is that the Gary Sanitary District's bills run with the property. They do not run with the person. So let's say you are a landlord, because this is what we've gotten the most of. You are a landlord and you leased out a piece of property or rented a piece of property to a tenant. That tenant left without paying the Gary Sanitary District bill. That bill stays with the property and with the owner and not with the tenant. You as a landlord have the ability to go after that tenant for the amount, but the amount runs with the property. So now we're to a point where we're sending out these lien notices because the State Board of Accounts said you can only go back 3 years, and you're allowing these liens to be missed, the opportunity to be missed to collect on this money. So that's why we started at 2022, which was approximately 3 years ago to today. If you have a bill right now that you are coming here to discuss or talk about, my suggestion is to talk to Janelle Carter. She'll be sitting outside these doors as customer service. If you've had an issue with customer service or haven't been able to get in touch with anybody, please step outside and speak with Janelle Carter. She'll be going out in a few minutes to discuss. She has the system up. She's ready to talk about bills. If you were not the owner when these bills were accrued. So let's say you did not go through the normal channels of using a title company when you bought a piece of property. Because if you use a title company, the title company contacts the Gary Sanitary District to determine if there is an outstanding bill, and then they get the payoff. So it's paid off when you purchase it. But if you didn't do it that way, if you just did a quick claim deed between you and somebody you bought a piece of property from, that's also okay. You just need to let us know that. We'll look it up in the assessor system, and we will adjust our records for you not being the current owner, and we'll remove that bill from your name. The only other thing I'd say is that when we are looking for owners, we use the Lake County Assessor's website to determine who the owner is at the time. So that is the most up-to-date. They're usually ahead of the treasurer and the auditor. So we always use the Lake County Assessor's page to determine the owner. With that, I think I've gone through my whole spiel here. With that, are there any persons in the audience today that want to speak that cannot, that have already spoken with customer service and feel that there's still an issue that I have not mentioned here? Or can I answer any questions? Yes, ma'am. So that is state law. So that's not something that we notify a landlord of, that is just not something we would do. But when we disconnect that tenant, when they get their disconnect notices at your property, even if you're not there, we send a second notice to the landlord's house. Now, because this is 2022, that would have happened in 2022. So this may be something, we've had a landlord say, oh yeah, I got the notice, I got the money from the tenant when they moved out, but I just forgot to send the money into the Gary Sanitary District. Or this would have been a notice that would have come to your house in the tenant's name with all the information, the data shut off, the amount that's owed, and the tenant, the person who incurred it. But it's still the responsibility of the homeowner per state law. And I can give you all that citation, if anybody's taking notes today. The citation is Indiana Code 36-9-25, and then please also refer to Indiana Code 36-9-23.
I have another question.
Go ahead.
Is there a statute of limitation to go after the tenant?
3 years. Oh, I'm sorry, the tenant.
For that bill?
That's a good question, and I don't know that answer. Usually what we suggest that landlords do is that either number one, that you just add it in the cost of your rent, because that way you never have to deal with this. The bill is coming to you every month, you're paying the bill, it's built into your rent, you don't have this issue anymore. Or number two, whenever a tenant moves out of your place, contact the Gary Sanitary District, see if they have a bill, and then use their security deposit to pay it. I'm a landlord, I pay my own Gary Sanitary District bill for my property, just because it's the only one that doesn't run with the person who turned it on. NIPSCO runs with the person and the water runs with the person. So,
My last question, I'm sorry.
yes, ma'am.
Where does the $2 fee go? There's a $2 fee assessed when you pay the bill, whether it's in person or online. I don't know why you're paying a fee to pay it online, because you're not actually speaking to anyone. But what happens, where does that fee go?
So the online $2 is what we pay the third-party bill pay system. We don't collect that, they collect that. That's just what we have to pay them. We don't have our own bill collecting, I don't know what to call it, Janelle, software system.
Do a third-party payment.
So we do third-party payments, so that's where that goes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, ma'am.
I did not know that I had to be a collector when I had a tenant. I never knew that I had to collect on their delinquent accounts. I never received, I just received a statement for this tenant that had been in my property And I just received it, that's why I'm here today. I had no knowledge of, I never received anything in the mail about it. Now, recently, I did receive a statement from a tenant that I had that's in the property now. And I didn't receive one prior to this because this tenant had changed his name on the water company. I don't know how they did that. So if they got a different name for the water company, it's still gonna come after me for the sewer.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
how would I know that?
Yes, ma'am. So first off, let me just say, because I think this is a problem issue too, Gary Sanitary District and Indiana American Water are two separate entities. We don't have anything to do with Indiana American Water. What we use Indiana American Water for is they tell us every month how many gallons of water this household used. We take whatever that number is and we multiply it by $8.50 per 1,000 gallons, and that's how we send you your bill. But the water company, it could be in, we don't know whose name the water company is in. All we know is that when they turn on Gary Sanitary District, that's the bill, that's the name of our bill goes out to, and if we have to send a disconnect notice, that disconnect notice goes to the person at the home and the owner. And so that would have come to you in 2022, and then now we're catching up on the liens. We have 3 years to do liens per state statute, and so we have that time to do it. And so now we're doing the lien for 2022. So I understand, and it's very strange because I know a lot of you have been landlords in the city of Gary or the state of Indiana for a very long time, but this has always been the law. This has never not been the law.
I mean, I've never got.
You wouldn't get a statement.
They must have been paying their sanitary bill.
Right.
And that's like 15, 20 years. Someone should have smacked and paying the bill. I should have gotten some type of statement. That's why I had no knowledge of knowing that I had to be a collector for a sanitary bill.
You are the collector of the landlord.
So I'm just responsible for this balance.
Yes.
And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. You're going to place a lien on my property.
Yes, ma'am.
Because that bill is not paid. So they got away with murder.
Well, so, and I would suggest if that's why we have Janelle Carter here today, who is our manager of customer service. If you, she can work with you on a payment schedule, whatever needs to be done. We don't want to put liens on anybody's homes. That's not our intention, but we do have to follow state law per the State Board of Accounts. And so we're trying to work with those homeowners that can't pay the complete amount up front. But what we suggest is just some proactive steps with your next renter so that this doesn't happen again.
When I'm prepared now, I have no more knowledge on how to address this.
That's why we're glad that you all are here at the meeting. We wanted to be able to answer these questions, do what we can to help.
So we are not only property owners, but we're also property managers. And as such, I received a number of the notices, obviously. Now, we've been doing this since 2018 with properties in Gary, and I'm well familiar with the pink slips that come in, and I would contact the tenants and say, hey, tell me, show me that you paid the bill, right? But they have almost disappeared, these pink notices, in the last year or two. And there were actually some properties where I picked up the phone, called Gary Sanitary and said, listen, I haven't seen a bill. Was there anything? And I was told there was no usage, there is no bill. But then all of a sudden the bills start coming in. So there is a disconnect somewhere. Have you made changes to the system that would stop bills from actually coming through and pink slips from coming through? And that's why we're ending up in this situation. And my secondary question is, will there be like a login to your website where we can eventually then keep track of it instead of me having to wait for a piece of paper that may or may not come in the mail, which is bad?
Yes, and thank you for that, both of those questions. And one of the biggest things that we've been doing since I got here in January is figuring out how to update all of this stuff. So number one, the answer is yes. We're working on a system where not just homeowners can get on and see their bill, but we're working on an automatic pay system. So if you just, you know, put in your credit card, if you're a homeowner, I wouldn't be talking about you, but as a homeowner, if you just want to put in your debit card number and make sure your bill is paid on a monthly basis, that will happen. Secondly, I would just say, there's been no change to the system where you should not be receiving those pink slips if they're going to be cut off. However, these bills, and I'm assuming the ones that you have are in the 2022 stack.
Page 23, I think. Just got one for a lien,
We just
paid
did
by
those.
5:30, the originals were paid by 4:30.
So if there is something that you would like us to know, if you weren't the owner at that time, then we can work with you on that. If you still have the same renter in the house, then that's a bill that you could work on with them. But no, there's not been a change to the system. What we're trying to do right now is catch up so that in 2025, we're ready to say, okay, now we're caught up. These lien notices, we should not have to have these anymore because the person, the owner who gets the bill, we're following up with them directly and immediately and not 3 years later. I think the hard thing that we're dealing with right now is that some of this stuff is so old. 3 years is a long time for anybody, that it's hard to remember. Did I get a notice? Did I not get a notice? I thought the tenant paid it before they left. It's that kind of thing. But moving forward, we'll be in a great position to be able to say, yes, here's your notice because your tenant didn't pay, and you won't be 3 years later. You'll be 30 days later. So it'll help a lot. But yeah, and I know that's a hard job, property manager. Just being a landlord is tough.
But I wanna know, how do you assess the tenants that's there? How much, so I decide, I might say, hey, I'm gonna just go ahead and pay the sewer bill, cause I'm not gonna have these tenants walking out on me with these delinquent accounts. So how do you know, how do I know how much?
Well, I think you would have to look at a couple bills. First off, you know that trash is on that bill. That's gonna be approximately $25 a month. So you know that. And then also, it's $8.50 for every 1,000 gallons of wastewater treated. So, I put an extra $50 on my bill. That's just what I do. But that's just me, you know, I mean, if you have a family of 5 living in your house, it may be a little different. Based on but it's all based on water usage. And so you can look at your Indiana American water bill and see how much water you're using. And that is gonna be the same amount that you're charged for on your sewer bill.
Okay, let me ask you one more thing.
Okay, because we got some other people with something.
Okay, one
Yes,
more thing
ma'am.
is this, I think. When, a tenant is in the property now, and they have incurred like $150 bill of sewage. So, do I contact the sewer department and tell them, or the water department, and tell them to disconnect it? They're not planning on paying.
Well, I think that's between you and your tenant. I don't think we would really have anything to do with that. If you don't think your tenant is gonna be paying their bills in the property that you're renting to them, then I think that's something that you would have to make some kind of determination about. If they're paying their water bill and their sewer bill, then there's no problem. Let's say they're paying their water bill, but they're not paying their sewer bill. The water company is not gonna cut them off. The Gary Sanitary District has no mechanism to be able to cut them off. And so that's why it's important to monitor that or to take on the responsibility of paying it yourself. But it's kind of part of being the landlord. Yes, ma'am.
Little feedback on that bill of yours. You were just mentioning the sewer bill and the water bill. I have tenants who are very confused about the fact that they get a water bill from Indiana American Water and the Gary Sanitary District bill says water. So they actually call me and say, hey, I get 2 water bills. And it does say water.
Oh, well, it's, so Janelle Carter's here. She said, we say water consumption, whatever that amount is, and then we multiply our rate for that.
Right,
So,
but what I'm saying is the verbiage is confusing.
I see.
To people.
I see. Okay, thank you. Oh, yes,
So
ma'am.
I had a question. I wanted to speak to the pink slip issue as well as a property manager, because I don't understand how when they get a pink slip, we get notified, but the bill will be $422 like one bill I had was $400.
Yes.
Another $800.
Okay.
But you offered a shut-off notice prior to that, but you don't shut them off.
So that's exactly what I was just talking about. We do not have the ability or mechanism to be able to shut anybody off. Indiana American Water is the only one, because we can't just stop you from flushing your toilets. I mean, kind of think about how that will work. We can't do that. And so Indiana American Water is the only way that you get shut off. So let's say you get a disconnect notice, but the bill continues to increase. That's when we've said to Indiana American Water, hey, we need you to shut them down. If they don't, that is not anything from the Gary Sanitary District can do. We can't, there's no fix for us for that. So we are at their mercy when it comes to shutting off. So yeah, your bill could get really, really high, and especially if you're not monitoring as the landlord. Any other questions? I think I saw you in the back, sir.
My question is, I guess it was the same thing, basically. Well, so my bill is $3,700 total. That's a lot of money.
So is there a way
Say
to?
anything for now.
Yeah, and so that's exactly what I'm saying. If the water, let's say you had a tenant, the tenant was paying to keep their water on and not paying the Gary Sanitary District, then the water stays on, we continue to bill off the water's bill, and that continues to accumulate. So that's just, it's just.
We gotta find a way to fix that gray area. Where the memorandum understanding with the water company, that gray area is hurting us.
Okay, yes,
It's
sir.
like, oh well, it's like, oh well.
Well, it's not we continue to provide the service as long as the water is on. That's what we do as Gary Sanitary.
Is there a memorandum understanding with the water company? Because at one time they even cut the water off. So why is?
Yeah, we've
What
had,
changed?
yes, sir, we've had a couple meetings with Indiana American Water, and they have a few reasons why they do not cut off as expeditiously as we would like for them to. We are a governmental entity, the Gary Sanitary District. We're just a department of the city of Gary. Indiana American Water is a privately owned, publicly traded company. So every dollar they make, they're making money for their shareholders. When they shut people off, they make less money for their shareholders. They don't have, we're not making a profit here. They're making one. So it's difficult to get that same buy-in from them that we have here. So it is an issue, and we know it is. We are talking to them to try to get them to understand this issue, not just for us, but for our customers here, the same customers that they have as well.
So I think that's what needs to happen, because the deal that you have with the water company is not good.
Well, there's no deal.
Not, well, whatever you, the understanding you have, or even the ordinance, that wasn't a good manufactured deal. So as a result of that, we're being penalized because of the fact that when you get a pink slip, most of the time, those tenants that you get the pink slip on, they're not paying rent either.
Right.
So we're being dinged twice, because you're not getting paid, but neither are we.
Okay, but I guess our position at the Gary Sanitary District is that as the landlord, we don't expect to have to manage your tenant. We expect you to manage your tenant. You know, we expect whatever property
So our recourse is to file for eviction.
Yes,
Which
absolutely.
costs us even more money, because now we have to go to court. 99% of the time, when you go to court, you'll get your eviction, so you'll get your property back. But the chances of us getting damages is probably rare.
and I'm sorry,
It's so unusual.
I understand all
So
that.
I'm just saying, these are all constant costs that we're incurring.
But we are-
And then now we get the sanitary district.
Yes, ma'am, but we're still a government agency. We are required by the state of Indiana to not let bills just be removed or written off or erased. We are required to collect that money from you in any way that we can. The state of Indiana, so many years ago, gave us a mechanism to be able to place liens on homes that aren't paid. And so we're required to do that by state statute. So I understand it's difficult being a landlord, not just in the city of Gary, anywhere. And you run into these kind of issues, but these are not things that are things that we can fix for landlords. We just ask landlords to take the best precautions they can when they are renting out property. Ma'am, you have one more question?
Yes, now that you've explained it, I understand it, and I have taken the stance of adding the sanitation bill into the rent, but, you know, I didn't know that in the beginning. However, I'm wondering, well, my question to you is, what happened where these bills fell to the wayside from 2020
I
to
can't speak to
2022?
that, and I wouldn't even try to speak to that. I got here in January, we had an audit from the State Board of Account in March, and we moved forward from there.
Yeah,
So-
because I paid a bill, and it was dated from 2021 to 2024. And I had to pay almost $3,000 for the tenant's bills. And then I get a bill saying, you still have a bill in 2022. So how did I get a final notice and not have that included? And the other part of my question is, what are the customer service reps doing to help us as customers? Because I went 3 days trying to get some answers on my bill, and all I was getting was, well, they said you gotta pay it. And I don't think that's the right approach.
You mean
to take.
that's the response from customer
Yes.
service?
You know, so we need a better, we need a better, customer service. And we're calling there with these problems, and all we get is, well, you have to pay it, you have to pay it, and we can't get a solution.
I understand.
Or even to break down and tell me, why do I have this bill left over when I paid you almost $3,000?
Yes, ma'am, and I do understand, you're right, and I completely agree with you. And so we have, like I said, if you want to take some time in the hallway today and talk to our customer service manager, please do, because she can walk you through how and why those things happen. Yes, ma'am.
So, on the customer service, I probably had a slightly better experience because they transferred me to the supervisor.
Okay.
But it seemed that that was the only way to get a response as to what was happening. How come these notices were there, or who incurred them, and all this kind of stuff, right? But let's go forward, let's assume it's all clean, right? So now you're sending your pink slips out. Now, if you're sending one pink slip out, but in Young American Water does not shut off the services, and it continues to accumulate, will there be a time frame where you're going to keep reiterating the amount that it's climbing up? Because if there was 1 year of bills, that's still somewhat doable. But if, like this gentleman, 3,700, that's several years. There's no doubt about it, it goes way back. Right?
Yes,
And I had another notice for someone, and that was for a previous owner, but that was $3,500. That's a lot of money.
Yes.
And that means somewhere the ball was dropped. But people were not notified
Yes.
that just because in the American Water they would do what they needed to do, it would keep accumulating into the services. That's difficult to pay.
So, right, and I completely understand what you're saying. Right now, we only have one pink slip go out once they have not paid for the 30 to 60 day period. And that goes out to the homeowner and to the owner of the house. So the answer is, right now the answer is no. You'll get one pink slip, and that will be your notification that there's a problem with the Gary Sanitary District bill. As we move forward, and we are changing things all the time in customer service, and as we move forward, we'll continue to review that. I think our goal right now is to get past these 22, 23, 24 liens, and then as we bring our system kind of better up to where you can do automatic payments, or you can go on and see what the outstanding bill is for our address or a property, we will continue to work on that. But right now, if you get a pink slip, you should be calling customer service to see what's going on.
But if I call customer service and it's a tenant of mine, that's got the pink slip, and I approach my tenant and I want to know the tenant hasn't paid the balance on his account. So that means next month or the month after, when I get a new statement, it's going to be an additional amount of money. but I have to keep paying.
Well, and as I said, we're not here to really manage your tenants. That really is up to you. I don't have an answer for how, you know, however you decide to deal with your tenant because of their lack of payment. But I think what we just want to express to you guys as landlords is that these bills do run with the property. And so whatever you could do to either tack on your Gary Sanitary bill to their rent every month, or however you decide to make that difference, you know, that's up to you to do that.
All right, one more.
Okay, okay, yes, sir.
So let's assume I get the pay slip and either the tenant pays current or I pay for the tenant, right? So now I'm back to the zero balance.
Yes, ma'am.
The next time the bill goes unpaid, is that generating a new pay slip?
Yes, it is. Because once you get back current, if you fall behind again, when we're back to disconnect status, the answer is yes, you will get another bill, another pink slip.
Why I never got a bill that says 3,700?
I'm sorry?
Why I never got a pink slip that says 3,700?
You probably did. It was probably in 2022. But you know what? If you want to step out and ask Ms. Carter, she can pull up your account and give you some more direct answers. I'm just generally asking. Okay, this will be our last one, and then anything else, I can be out there with her.
I'd just like to recommend a change to your process, because one notification to the landlord is insufficient. There's a third party involved here, and it's the weakest link, and that's the U.S. Postal Service. Has anybody ever lost anything in the mail or know it was coming and it didn't arrive? All right, so I would recommend adding a follow-on notification, or maybe set up some kind of electronic notification for landlords and property managers so they can get on it quicker. You'll get paid quicker, we'll get paid quicker, you know, and it's got to be something simple.
Well, hopefully our new system will be set up where those bills will be emailed as the landlord, and you all can start getting those. As I said, we're working through as much as we can. We know the mail is just the mail, so, and especially today in this year. So, okay, so thank you guys all for coming. If you want to stay for the meeting, please do. We'll be honoring a number of our 30-year employees today. If you have more questions, please step out and talk to Ms. Janelle Carter. I'll probably be out there too for a bit if anybody needs me. Thank you, Mr. President.
Sorry, mic wasn't on. Next, we'll move on to bid opening. This is for the network video recorder and security camera project. Mike.
Right, the first bid is received, well,
Oh, are there any additional bids that still have to be submitted for this project? Anybody in the audience? Okay. Bidding closed.
right, first bid is received from Imperial Surveillance from Arlington Heights, Illinois. Total bid from Imperial Surveillance is $65,270.26. Again, this is a lump sum price in the amount of $65,270.26 received from Imperial Surveillance from Arlington Heights, Illinois. Next bid is received from VST Security Solutions located in Munster, Indiana. Lump sum bid received from VST Security Solutions is in the amount of $52,100. $52,500. Again, $52,500 from VST Security Solutions. Okay. The next bid is received from Datacom Sales Incorporated, located in Chicago, Illinois. Their lump sum bid is in the amount of $76,777 even. Again, $76,777 even from Datacom Sales Incorporated. Next bid is received from Videotech Corporation, located in Highland, Indiana. The bid received from Videotech is in the lump sum amount of $76,920. Again, that amount is $76,920. Final bid is from Chicago Communications, located in Dyer, Indiana. Lump sum bid amount received from Chicago Communications LLC in Dyer is $167,790. Again, that bid amount is $167,790 from Chicago Communications. Mr. President, I recommend that we refer this to staff for review and recommendation at the next board meeting.
Okay, thank you. So that concludes the bid opening for our network video recorder and security camera project. And as council mentioned, the bids will be given to staff for review, and hopefully at the next meeting, we'll have a recommendation. All right, so we're gonna move on with the agenda for the meeting. Next on the agenda, we have the minutes.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we accept the executive session and regular meeting minutes of April 2nd, 2025.
Motion's been made to accept the minutes. Is there a second?
I'd like to second, Mr. Chair.
Motion's been made and properly second. Any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, roll call on the approval.
Commissioner Graves, Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Maybon,
Yes.
Commissioner Morris, Commissioner Allen. The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
5 ayes and 0 noes. The minutes for the executive session and regular meeting for April 2nd has been approved. Next, we have new business. We have 2.1 and 2.2. They're both regarding payroll. Mr. Foster?
Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve GSD payroll earnings for period ending March 10th, 2025 through March 23rd, 2025, in the amount of $258,582.03. Also make a motion to approve GSD payroll earnings for period ending March 24th, 2025 through April 6th, 2025, in the amount of $265,632.77.
Thank you, Mr. Foster. After the overview for both 2.1 and 2.2, what is the pleasure of the board?
So moved, Mr. Chair, for 2.1 and 2.2.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I second it, Mr. Chair.
Motion's been made and properly second. Any discussion on 2.1 or 2.2? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioner Graves, Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Maybon,
Yes.
Commissioner Morris, Commissioner Allen.
Yes.
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
5 ayes and 0 noes. 2.1 and 2.2 have been approved. Next, we have 2.3. This is a request for proposal and bidding documents for the citywide residential solid waste, yard waste, recycling, collection, and disposal.
Thank you,
Director.
Mr. President. I recommend that the board make a motion to approve the offering of a request for proposal for citywide residential solid waste, yard waste, recycling, collection, and disposal to go out Monday, May 5th, and to be returned Tuesday, May 27th, the day following Memorial Day.
Okay. Thank you. After hearing the overview and recommendation for 2.3, what is the pleasure of the board?
I just had a question. So that's going to be an agenda for May 30th?
Yes, it may be on the agenda for June, the first meeting in June, just depending on how they fall. But
Right.
it'll be
It
the
won't be on the
meeting
May 30th.
immediately following.
So it won't be May 30th?
It won't be on the agenda for May 30th. It would be on an agenda after that. The date that she just outlined is the last date to submit the bids. So,
Sorry.
Yeah, what is the pleasure of the board for 2.3?
So moved, Mr. Chair, for board consideration and approval.
Thank you for that. Is there a second?
I second it, Mr. Chair.
Motion's been made and properly second for 2.3. Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call for 2.3.
Commissioner Graves, Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Maybon,
Yes.
Commissioner Morris,
Yes.
Commissioner Allen. The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
With 5 ayes and 2 it's been approved. Next, we have 2.4.
2.4, we're asking for a change order for Burns and McDonnell Engineering Company. They're the independent company that we were recommended to use by the Department of Justice to determine our user rates for contract communities and for the city of Gary. We asked them to do a bit of additional work, which included what our pricing for other items throughout the plant should be. And we have this change order now for $39,562 for them to perform that work.
Okay, thank you. We have $39,562 supplemental for Barnes and McDonald. This is for our financial capability assessment study. What is the pleasure of the board?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
I second it.
Motion's been made and properly second for acceptance of 2.4. Any discussion? Any discussion? I'm hearing nothing. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Graves, Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Maybon,
Yes.
Commissioner Morris, Commissioner Allen. The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
5 ayes. 2.4 has been approved. Next on the agenda, we have 2.5.
But by anyone. So this is just a request to be able to remove those things and dispose of those things.
Attaches a list and description of all items, their model numbers or serial numbers, and condition,
Yes.
just for the record. It's Exhibit A.
Give me the exhibit. You have the exhibit?
Okay. So yeah, I have the Exhibit A here.
Okay.
This one.
You can carry on. I'm just,
So, after hearing the overview and recommendation, for 2.5, what is the pleasure of the board?
so moved, Mr. Chair.
A motion's been made. Is there
I
a second?
second it.
Motion's been made and properly second for 2.5. Any discussion? Maybe just like a comment. yes, we have the list and information pertaining to each item. Can we also have like pictures, or is that automatically? Okay, all right, thank you. Just want to make sure the pictures are also included in our documents. Okay, if there's no other comments, questions, or discussion, roll call, please.
Commissioner Graves, Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Maybon,
Yes.
Commissioner Morris, Commissioner Allen.
Yeah.
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
With 5 ayes and 0 noes, SD 25-20 has been approved. Next, we have 2.6.
This is a request to purchase a folder inserter machine to facilitate the beginning of our in-house billing production project. The machine is $12,884, and it's able to do, I think it was 500 an hour, 500 bills per hour. So this is one step closer to us saving a couple bucks and bringing this in-house.
Thank you.
Five and
Well, we're going to get that number just to make sure. Right now, we pay about $120,000 a year for this service to be able to just basically put these bills together, minus postage. So this is certainly the machine is about 10% of our usual total cost. So we can find out about leasing it as well. It does come with 1 year of maintenance. Yeah.
but that's only maintenance needed, or is that just a contract?
You pay that $1,600 the first year, and then after that, we don't have to do it anymore. We can keep it. We don't have to keep it. By then, we can see, you know, how we feel with the equipment, but we can certainly get a price for Third Millennium. They're a company out of Illinois, and I think they've been providing for about 10 years now. Probably a little bit more than that. 120,000. And that's not including postage.
How far down the road be thinking in terms of billing electronically in addition to this?
So based on our conversations, that's something that we're going to start looking for right away. We'll probably put out an RFP for a all-in-one kind of service for billing, making sure that they can do electronic billing, e-bill, automatic payments, and then also give us the back-end things that we need for our customer service department, including our notices that we just had a discussion about, and lien notices if necessary. So we'll probably start looking for like a one-stop shop. Right now we're working with 2 different ones right now, so.
All right. If there's no further questions, what is the pleasure of the board for 2.6?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
I second it.
Motion's been made and properly second. Any other discussion? And then, I guess just for the record, you have already mentioned it, but there is a comp a comparison for another unit that is from folder, I'm sorry, JFK, for the same folder and inserter equipment that we just mentioned, and their price was $17,297.50. So what we're approving is approximately $5,000 less. With that being said, roll call, please.
Commissioner Graves, Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Maybon, Commissioner Morris, Commissioner Allen. The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
5 ayes. 2.6 is done. 2.7.
For 1 second, I just got a message from our customer service manager, Janelle Carter. A lease would be $25,534 for 5 years. So we could lease and it would be a lower amount monthly. We just would not own the equipment. I think the answer is yes. Yes. So that might be and we'll look at both options, but we appreciate the approval on the piece of equipment.
Next one, 2.7.
2.7, we're requesting a motion to approve the award to bid to JWC Environmental for sole source purchase of 3 new grinders for the gravity take in an amount not to exceed $71,363. And we have Timothy Austin here, our plant superintendent, if you have any questions.
Question? What is the pleasure of the board for 2.7?
Passage.
I'll second it.
It's been made and properly seconded. Any discussion? Okay. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Graves, Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Maybon, Commissioner Morris, Commissioner Allen.
Yes.
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
Approved. Gravity tank not to exceed amount of $71,363.58. Next on the agenda, we have 2.8.
2.8, this is our door, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. This is the request for the services to the doors around the plant, the amount not to exceed $52,776.
This is Hatcher. Just had a question for you. Is this any way tied into the bid opening for video recording and security?
Oh, no, this is just, go ahead, stuff.
Any more comments or questions?
How big are some of these doors?
So the head works, primary aeration building. Oh yeah, what goes on? Okay, thank you. Any other comments or questions? Okay, hearing none, what is the pleasure of the board for 2.8?
Vote for passage.
Second it, Mr. Chair.
Motion's been made and properly seconded. Again, any discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Commissioner Graves, Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Maybon,
Yes.
Commissioner Morris, Commissioner Allen.
Yes.
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
5 ayes and 0 noes. LLC for not to exceed amount of $52,776 has been approved. Okay, next on the agenda, we have 2.9.
2.9, this is there was a cave-in over on 4th and Arthur Street a couple of weeks ago when we had that very large rain. And so this is a request to award a bid to Metz for the repair at that location for $70,550.
Okay, thank you for that. After hearing the overview and recommendation, what is the pleasure of the board for 2.9?
Vote for passage, Mr. Chair.
Second it.
Motion's been made and properly seconded. Any discussion?
It's not an emergency. Well, you put it on there if it's an emergency, right? No.
Well, right now we have it taped off and I think, He's not here. Oh, go ahead, yeah. Yeah, I was looking for Lamingo, but yeah.
There we go. So it's not listed as an emergency, but the cave-in is in the middle of the street, and it's also very close to a homeowner's property. So that is something that we want to have done, and I would strongly recommend that it's done as soon as possible.
But, we can sort of a department we can actually create at the sanitary district.
It is posted. The job is posted. We are looking for someone to lead that department. We think we have the staff to be the supportive services, but we need someone with the knowledge of actually putting in sewer lines. And so that's been posted for about 3 or 4 weeks now. So if any of the public is listening, you have sewer placement experience, please call us.
Thank you. I believe for 2.9, a motion, second approval. There's no other comments, questions, or discussion. We please have roll call.
Commissioner Graves, Commissioner Cook, Commissioner Maybon, Commissioner Morris, Commissioner Allen. The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
No. Approve this bid to Net Sewers and Pumping LLC for a not to exceed amount of $70,550 near the vicinity of 433 Arthur Street. Okay, next on the agenda we have claim 3.1. Mr. Foster.
Thank you. I make a motion to approve GSD claims numbers 826 through 1014 in the amount of $580,858.70. Want to make note, due to the timing of the board meeting, and this amount is low, so you have a lot of capture that's going to come pretty much this week. So this is the reason why the amount is low at this time.
Thank you for the heads up. What is the pleasure of the board for claim? I'm sorry, 3.1.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Motion's been made. Is there a second? Second. Motion's been made and properly second. Any discussion on claim? Hearing none, roll call please.
Commissioner Graves, Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Maybon,
Yes.
Commissioner Morris, Commissioner Allen. The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
5 approved. $858.70. All right, next on the agenda, we have information updates. 4.1, Superintendent's Report. Mr. Tim Austin, Plant Superintendent.
All right, good afternoon. I know we're all hungry, so I'll be quick. We just did a lot of final tank maintenance out in the plant with our maintenance department. That's ongoing. It's near completion. They're just taking down tanks in the plant and pumping them down, inspecting the rakes, making sure they work properly. We're addressing different roof leaks throughout the facilities in the plant. And we're also getting different bids from contractors to make sure we're getting the lowest bid possible. One great thing that happened that hopefully will translate to more savings is that Juan Roldan, our maintenance supervisor, identified that the blowers that we currently have in our plant for our aeration are using potable water in order for cooling water, which is a significant portion of our water bill. So we coordinated with FB Moran to tap into the service water line that is present but wasn't being utilized, so the blowers can run off the plant water that we create. So that should significantly reduce our water bills. So we'll have to look at those water bills as we go forward this year.
Have we ever considered that in the past?
Not to my knowledge.
So that's going to be a substantial saving.
Yeah, I hope so. Yes, sir. Yeah, because that's just the water that we create in our plant that's chlorinated and cleaned and everything. And there's also bag filters set up in the piping, so the surface water does get further filtered as well. So.
Oh, that's great. Good job.
Yep. Yeah, great.
We
Shout out
look
to
forward to
Juan.
more information.
30 years of experience. Yeah, the last two things are quick. The net DMR report that we do monthly was submitted on time, as well as the CSO report earlier yesterday. And we do have our new instrumentation specialist who started this week, and it's a lot of work for him to do, so he'll be very busy. So we're not trying to overwhelm him, but he's out in the plant identifying issues and working with us, getting drawings, working with former contractors to see what work has been done, so he has a better understanding of where our priorities are. So we'll be working with him very closely to make sure that we can do more things in-house instead of contracting a lot of these things out. But he just started, so we're giving him a little bit of grace, but he'll be busy. And that's all I have. Do you have any questions or?
Do we have any questions or comments for Mr. Austin? Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Next, we have construction activities, Mr. Jabez Anderson, Assistant Manager of Engineering.
Greetings, board. Hello again. While I have the time, I'd like to say thank you very much to Cola for his guidance and his mentoring. He's recently retired 2 days ago, actually. I asked him if he wanted to stay another month, but he decided not to, so there you go. But I do want to publicly say thank you for your mentoring and your guidance. I really appreciate all that you've poured into me. So with that, now I'll move into the construction report. Yeah. So everything is holding pretty steady. The Lake Street drainage improvement projects will be meeting May 5th to review the remaining work and then get started on it. The US 20 Complete Street project, there's still coordination with the utilities going on. Right now, the water company is out doing their relocations, and then we'll be, I guess, just waiting on those, on the rest of the utilities and making sure that we coordinate with them. So then we can begin our work. And then that's pretty much all that I have for the construction report. There is one more thing. The 539 Maryland Street is completed, so that project has been completed as well, and that's a in-house cave-in project. And that is my construction report for this meeting.
Thank you. Do we have any comments or questions for Mr. Anderson? Thank you so much. All right, next on the agenda, we have discussion. Are there any items or topics that need to be discussed by the commissioners? Well, okay, if there's no items, then are there any remaining requests to speak?
No, sir.
All right, is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved. I'll second that.
This is now the Gary Stormwater Management District meeting. We will now open up for roll call.
Director William Allen.
President.
Director Ola Morris. Director Maurice Mabon. Director Willie Cook.
Present.
Director Frida Graves. Attorney Jewel Harris Jr.
Present.
Executive Director Reagan Hatcher.
Present.
And Finance Manager Jerome Foster is
Present.
here. And that's the end of roll call.
Present. Next is certification. And I'll read aloud pursuant to section 5-14-1.5-6 3.1, I certify that prior to the start of today's meeting, there was an executive session held, and there was nothing discussed in the executive session that was not indicated on the posted notice. That being in compliance with Indiana statutes, there were no final votes held during the executive session. Does any member or director dissent? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to minutes. What is the pleasure of the board for minutes?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to accept the executive session and regular minute meetings of April 4, 2025.
Motion for acceptance of minutes for the executive session and regular meeting for April 5th. Is there a second?
I second it, Mr. Chair.
Motion's been made and properly second. Any discussion? Minutes. Hearing none, roll call.
Director Graves, Director Cook, Director Mabon, Director Morris, Director Allen. The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
Next, we have new business. We have 2.1, 2.2. Mr. Foster?
Yes, for the record, I want to say that I'm present. Dear roll call. Oh, doing the thing. Oh, you got me? Cool.
You got
Thank you. First, I'll make a motion to approve GSWMD payroll earnings for period ending March 10th, 2025 through March 23rd, 2025. And then also I'd like to make a motion for GSWMD payroll earnings for period ending March 24th of 2025 through April 6th, 2025. Both of those are in the amount of $9,466.95.
Okay, we just heard an overview and recommendation for both 2.1, 2.2 for payroll earning in the amount of $9,466.95 respectively. What is the pleasure of the board?
Move for passage, Mr. Chair.
Second it, Mr. Chair.
Motion's been made and second for approval of 2.1 and 2.2. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call please for 2.1 and 2.2.
Director Graves,
Yes.
Director Cook,
Yes.
Director Mabon,
Yes.
Director Morris,
Yes.
Director Allen.
Yes.
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
2.2. Next on the agenda, we have claims. 2.1, Mr. Foster.
Thank you again. I'll make a motion to approve GSWMD claim numbers 43 through 54 in the amount of $69,400.84.
Thank you. What is the pleasure of the board for claims 3.1? Motion's been made. Is there a second?
I second it.
Motion's been made and properly second for acceptance of claim. Any discussion?
I just had a question. I see one claim on there from L17. Was that a lost invoice or misplaced invoice?
I'll have to check on that. I'm not sure right offhand, but I will follow up with you on it.
Any other comments or questions on our claim? Okay, hearing none.
And there's an error. There's one error on there. There's a National Pen Company. I think the date is 10/15/25.
Oh,
And then you put another one on there for 12/17/25. It says 25, right?
yeah,
And it should be 24.
24. And then, you just want to state the claim number for the record?
Well, it's 49 and it's 51.
Yes, we see that. I will make sure we make the corrections for that.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions, comments, discussion? Okay. Roll call, please, for 3.1.
Director Graves, Director Cook,
Yes.
Director Maybon,
Yes.
Director Morris, Director Allen. The vote is 5 ayes with 0 noes.
With 5 yes. Claim has been approved. $69,400.84. Okay, next on the agenda, we have information updates. This is MS4 updates. Ms. Brenda Scott Henry.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Will try not to take up too much time, but I just wanted to share that we will continue to work on our stormwater technical standards so we can get that completed. We met with Metrics Environmental earlier this week, and we were able to come up with a game plan to include more information because we were looking at maybe a smaller outline of the technical standards. They were headed in the, but we know we need a more robust plan. And so Jabez will lead that charge. Now that Cola is retired. And so I also wanted to point out that we will not have a MS4 team meeting in May due to the annual meeting that will be held in Plainsville, Indiana. It's our annual conference where MS4s all over the state will come together and receive educational training if they need so, but just basic stormwater training. And that's May 12th and the 13th. And that will, again, that's in Plainfield, Indiana. So it's May, and we're still planning for our household hazardous waste collection and Green Awareness Day, which will be held on Saturday, May 31st from 9 to 2 p.m. We'll be working with our city public works, recycling department, environmental affairs, and stormwater are coming together to host this event. It's from 9 to 2 p.m. We have a lot of activities. I know you guys have seen the flyers. Staff has been going around putting up the yard signs in certain area. And then we hope to also move toward a couple of billboards. And finally, we are wrapping up. We have one more lunch and learn for Earth Month. We started a little late, so we pushed the first speaker to the last Wednesday, which will be May 7th at noon. There's a Zoom link that we are sharing on our website. This past Wednesday, we had Isioma Nwayar, who is a PhD student at Indiana University, who talked about our climate primer, looking at wet weather events and how it impacts our community. I know that when we did this study before, this climate primer, it's just a pattern of weather conditions over time, how it has transitioned from a national level down to a state level and down to the city of Gary. We didn't consider wind as a factor, a weather condition factor, but with the tornadoes we just had recently, we did have a conversation around how that those natural disasters would impact how we manage stormwater. One, because it does cause flooding with the increased rain, but also there were other damages associated with, of course, with tornadoes. So this study that we've completed definitely share with you that we are having warmer winters. As you know, we didn't have really a winter this year, and that's been a trend for the last 4 or 5 years. And how do we prepare for that? That means we'll have more hot days, And we know that there's a lot of energy consumption as a result of warmer days and as well as longer rainy seasons. So that presentation is available on our website. And the final presentation we'll have, which is coming up on this May 7th at noon, we have our second PhD intern who will talk about how things have changed from the climate action plan that we did some years ago. So if you're interested in hearing about that, I'll definitely share the link. But thank you. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
You didn't want to mention all the money you received for the solar?
Oh, so
Solar panel, solar for all.
So, yes, I can talk about that a little bit. So we have been awarded $32.5 million to do solar installation in the city of Gary. And one of the locations that we're considering is, of course, GSD to help reduce its energy costs. It's a primary location because it has its own transformer right there. And it would be an ideal location. But the other locations, we got several locations because we're working on the feasibility study. But I just wanted to point that out because that's a plus for us, and it'll also help reduce our bill. And we can also do, it's a long-term income generator for the district. The two other community solar arrays that we are looking at installing, that would include battery storage, is the landfill, the closed landfill, and also there's another brownfield, which is a stocking factory. Why are we looking at these type of locations? Because of the energy credits that are associated with it. If our current administration doesn't change that law or the Inflation Reduction Act, we're looking at bringing in a significant amount from 50 to 70% return on any installation that we put in place. So that would be amazing. And then the residual income that comes from month to month or yearly fees that we will receive, we'll be able to help over 2,500 households to reduce their energy bill by 20%. There's an additional, and then we have an abundance of partners who will help us with the outreach and education, because that's imperative in terms of informing individuals on the benefits of solar, and then also leading into energy efficiency. So there's some, if you get the solar installation, there's still things that you need to do to help reduce your bill in addition to what we're doing. Now the EPA really put the restrictions on how much solar we can install on a rooftop. That will equate to no more than about 6 or 7 solar panels. So that's not a lot, but it is a reduction in the utility bill for the income eligible household. So no, it's not for the average household who makes above the medium income. So it's only for low income households. And that's all.
Do we have any comments or questions, Sanitary?
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, next on the agenda, I believe it's discussion, if I can find my agenda. Are there any items or topics that need to be discussed by the director? All right, are there any requests to speak?
No, sir.
You said no?
No, sir.
Oh, okay. Is there a motion for adjournment?
Thank you.
Motion made and second for adjournment. Meeting has been adjourned.